Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of this Washington Nationals franchise. First off, if you didn't watch episode 2, make sure you do. It was a really fun episode. We broke down spring training, we talked about who impressed, who didn't, set up our final lineups and rotations before the season, and then we hopped right into opening day against the Braves, and spoiler alert, we got thrashed. It was kind of expected. Spencer Strider's the NL Cy Young favorite, and we're polar opposites as teams. The Braves are good, and we aren't. We still have a lot of young pieces that need to develop, and we have a lot of pieces that still need to be added. But if you didn't watch the episode, make sure you do. Guy does an awesome job breaking down all that content on Natty Lights. But on today's episode, we're going to recap what we simmed off camera. We're going to have another Natty Lights episode for our feature game of the day, and then we're going to end off the episode with our first scouting session of the season. Let's get right into it. So we simmed the rest of that Braves series, and no surprises here, but we got swept. It was pretty expected. The Braves are a very good team. It's our first series of the year, and we're just not projected to be that good. However, I'd love to say I saw more bright spots, but honestly, I didn't. The pitching wasn't good, the hitting wasn't good. Just overall, really bad series from us. But we move on to play against the Rays, who also got swept in their series. And we had a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the ninth for our first critical situation of the year. We hop in here, already 2 outs though. Other batters couldn't get it done. Alex Call also can't get it done as he flies out to the right field. No biggie 2-2, we're gonna hop in the extras. However, umps come out to the coaches and say, yeah, you see that rain? Yeah, we're gonna have to have a delay. And I'll be honest, it ruined our whole flow. We had to take out our reliever who was doing pretty well. And, we talked about on opening day that in situations like this, we should be better because we have guys that are great in those closing roles and those setup roles. So I put in our best reliever, Carl Edwards Jr. Last year, 57 games, 6.3 record, 2.76 ERA with a 1.23 whip. And I expected a little bit more from him, but his first batter in extras here, and he gives up a single. Rays would end up scoring a run off of this single and winning the game, sadly. So we're still winless here, but we have another opportunity. This time in game 2 of that same series, Chad Kuhl, complete game shutout opportunity. But Chad Kuhl couldn't keep those nerves cool. As you see here, he's going to throw a sinker, hangs it a little bit, and it's a double down the line for Yandy Diaz. Rays go up 2-1, and the Nationals very quickly went from a situation where we're shutting somebody out, thinking we're gonna get our first win, and now we're down 2-1 in the ninth. And just for some more icing on the cake for the Rays, a little blooper by Luke Raley, and Corey Dickerson almost lets it go over his head to allow 2, but just allows 1, and we end up losing that game. And now we are down 0-2 against the Rays, 0-5 on the year. I figured we already lost the series. Let's just sim this last game against the Rays and let's see what happens. And they end up losing that one too. So now we're 0-6 heading against the Rockies. So not winning any of your first 6 games to start the year isn't the most ideal start. But that's okay, because now we're going to be playing against a team who's in a similar rebuild stage as us, and we're going to be playing in a ballpark that promotes offense. Now look at the Rockies stats. They're actually not bad in offense. Top 5 in hits, home runs, and RBIs, but their pitching is the one that's letting them down. Bottom half in the league in all key pitching metrics. But that's the double-edged sword of playing in Coors. Looking at their roster, there's some good players I like. They have Chris Bryant, who they just signed to that long-term deal. They have CJ Cron, both of them being 81 overall respectively. But their pitching woes make sense because their best pitcher is Daniel Bard, a reliever who's only a 78 overall, 37 years old, but somehow still has an A potential. I don't know how that happens, but it'll be a fun series and hopefully one where we can get our first win. But enough talking over menus because it's now time for everybody's favorite highlight show. Guy, take it away. Kai, I was really thinking of making a high joke, but I decided against it. It's not family friendly, but let me tell you, we are high. Physically, we're in the mountains. Your Washington Nationals taking on the Colorado Rockies. And let me tell you, this one was a slug fest. 2 teams who don't have the best pitching playing in Coors Field. Well, that's a recipe for a lot of runs. Looking at the Colorado Rockies preseason projections, Charlie Blackmon's supposed to lead them in average, CJ Cron's supposed to lead them in OPS, home runs, and RBIs, Profar and stolen bases, and the young 26-year-old Brandon Rogers is supposed to lead them in WAR. Stat nerds drooling. This one was fun. Let's get right into it. Top first here, Kyle Freeland on the mound for the Rockies. 1 start this year, 0-1 record, 3.18 ERA, 5.2 innings of work, and that 1.24 whip. And the Rockies have started off this year 2-4, but not because of their offense, who ranks top 5 in home runs, hits, and RBIs, but it's been their pitching. But let me tell you, their pitching didn't let them down early in this game as Kyle Freeland starts off his day on the mound. 1-2-3 against the Nationals. Easy inning for him. But the same can't be said for Mackenzie Gore, who struggled. And I get it, he's only had one start this year, but that 5.79 ERA and not even getting through 5 innings of work is not pretty. And the goal for him was to come into Coors, get a quality start, shake off that early season rust. But we're going to see the third batter he faces. Listen to this one.
Right in the air. Deep left center. It's gonna go.
Crushed. Like my hopes and dreams. 442 feet, 106 exit velo. And let me tell you, that just got the party started for the Rockies as the very next batter, CJ Cron, after an 8-pitch battle, he says, anything you can do, I could do better. Also crushed, same exact spot. All you can do is look at it fly. That's back-to-back jacks for the Rockies. As look in the show vision here, and CJ times it up perfectly, and the Coors air just lets that one fly. Cron taking a gander at it, nothing else to do, as Gore's got to be shaking his head. But look at that, 454 feet. What a bomb from CJ Cron. Ryan Mann says, I want to get in the party too. This time a deep double to right field over Dominic Smith's head. That's going to get another home for the Rockies. And the Rockies looking good to start off this game. 4-0 after the first inning. Tough start for the Nationals.
Top second here. Nationals trying to get back into the game, and Joey Meneses says I can make that a little bit easier. Second home run on the year. Hey, besides this one, he's been struggling for these first two series in the year, batting .083. Yeah, not a good look. He's hoping to come back in this Rockies series, but 427-foot bomb will help that. But Nationals didn't stop there. A couple batters later, bases loaded for Victor Robles. Look at this one. I think that counts as an RBI. Hits him in the knee. Robles takes that. That's another run for the Nationals. And then, again, bases loaded for Chavis. Strikes out. Nationals probably could have scored more, but, 2 for this offense is pretty good. Trying to fight back in this game, but Freeland loving it. He got out of a tough situation there. Bottom third here, CJ Cron back up to bat, and he's still seeing the ball very well as he sends a missile in the left field. Lane Thomas chasing it down, but a little bit of a weird situation here as it gets to the cutoff man, Chris Bryant. What are you doing? You are not that speedy. Ump is like, yeah, I guess I got to call you out. Chris Bryant, I don't know if he didn't think the ball didn't get to the cutoff man or what. I don't know how he thought he could get home. I don't know if his third base coach sent him or what, but yeah, Rockies got to talk about their base running. But a couple batters later, Grichuk sends the ball up the middle, and Robles, quite the arm, shouldn't have even thrown it to the cutoff man because Meneses, yeah, he makes Ruiz miss the tag with a bad throw. Gore, not loving it. Top four here, the Nationals still showing that they can slug it out as Alex Call, already 1 for 1 on the day, takes this hanging knuckle curve and just smacks it the other way. Not quite gone, but a one-hopper off the wall, and with that speed, that's an easy triple for him. We can get a better look here as Freeland, yeah, I don't think he meant to put that knuckle curve right there, just hung right over the plate, and Call, he eats those for breakfast. He's had a pretty nice start to this year, and look, he didn't have to get the jersey dirty on that triple. And then Jeter Downs, a fan favorite of the Nationals here. It ain't pretty, but it gets the job done. Right past the outstretched glove of the shortstop, and Jeter Downs gets an RBI, hits Alex Call home. And you love to see guys like Jeter taking advantage of his opportunities. And then again, Chavis getting a do-over with the bases loaded, only 1 out for the Nationals. And he does over the same thing he did before. Chavis, another momentum-killing ground out. Top 5 here, the Nationals still putting on that pressure. Their third bases loaded opportunity of the game, and CJ Abrams hits a little blooper. Outfielder can't dive for it, just misses his glove by a couple inches, and CJ Abrams is hyped. He started off this year hot, and he keeps that going, but this is the real play of the game here. Look at the first base coach. You see that butt slap? The recoil on that thing. Back to baseball. Again, that ball just hit off the weak part of the bat. The outfielder just missed it by a couple inches, missed that web gem. Rockets love diving for stuff here as Jeter Downs, the very next batter, trying to hit some guys home in this bases loaded opportunity again. He takes the ball from Kyle Freeland. Brendan Rodgers says, no. Look at this one. He said, you got to pass my shortstop, but you're not going to get it past me. Hey, maybe they need to put Rodgers in the shortstop position because look at that range. He's hyped up too. Downs is looking to score 2 here, and Rodgers at least saved a run. 1 did come in off of that, but beautiful diving stop, and the Rockies manager saw enough. He said, I'm sorry, Freeland, but yeah, you're done. Freeland didn't even get through 5 innings of work. lets the Nats score 5 on him, one of the worst offenses in the league. And Freeland, not happy. You know, it's a tie game, 5-5, though. He's not in line for the loss, so who's really going to remember this game? Rockies bringing Lucas Gilbreth in relief. 2 games this year, 0-1 record, 5 innings of work with a 7.2 ERA, and lefties hit him a little bit better than righties, so an interesting choice to bring him in against the lefty batter who's already 2 for 2 on the day with 2 runners in scoring position. Dominic Smith trying to lock in here and give the Nationals the lead, but all these Rockies fielders do is dive as the first baseman knocks the ball down and gets them out of the inning. Bottom 5 here, Nationals take a note out of the Rockies book. They bring in their own reliever, Ramirez. 60 games last year, 4.2 record, 2.92 ERA with that 1.08 whip. Ramirez a pretty good reliever here and probably one of the Nationals' best. And let me tell you, he came out with that nasty days. Look at this curveball. Yeah, it's the same batter that hit a bomb in the first inning. StatCast was hitting up my phone. They're like, we got to pull the numbers on that one. Beautiful curveball from Ramirez. Makes Bryant look silly. 8-inch break on that and a 1788 RPM. Listen, I'm not going to act like I know what that means, but that's a big number, and big numbers usually mean good things. Top 60 in the Nationals looking to take the lead with the runner in scoring position, and Lane Thomas delivers. Pushes this ball in the right field. The Nats playing aggressive on the base path, send the runner home, but also overextend Thomas as he gets picked off. Nationals greedy, but take the lead. The lead doesn't last long though. Bottom of the 6th, Rockies come into this inning locked in as Elias Diaz hits a beautiful double in the gap. Smith can't track it down. He's got to run it all the way to the wall. Diaz, 2 for 4 on the day, and he's part of that amazing Rockies offense that can just out-slug anybody. You got to figure out a way to shut them down as this Rockies team, they're playing together, and this doesn't seem like a 2-4 team. Barrels that ball up, sends it to the gap. Diaz is loving it. Later in the inning, Harold Castro this time takes the ball, and Dominic Smith says, "What, Jim?" He tried to do the diving catch thing, but he kind of just fell forward. A run ends up scoring, and the Rockies take the lead right back. And again, it's got to be these butt slaps that are fueling these players. I mean, you see that one too? Not as much recoil as Abrams, though. Bottom of the 8th here, and if this was a boxing match, this is when the ref would call it, as the first batter here smacks that baseball right against Ramirez's leg. He said he would be okay, so Dave Martinez keeps him in, but very next batter, Ryan McMahon blasts his second double, and probably because there just wasn't enough power behind that pitch with that sore leg, Rockies surprisingly don't send anybody home. And that's what gives Dave Martinez the call to put in Carl Edwards Jr. Only one game this year, that extra innings game where he just came in, gave up a hit, and gave up the lead immediately. Carl hoping that he can have a better outing here and try to keep this game close, but again, he just keeps giving up hits when he's put in these situations, as Elias Diaz hits a liner down first base. That's going to score 1 for the Rockies, and now they're up 2, and it doesn't end there. Later in the inning, Charlie Blackmon, who was 0 for 4 on the day before this, hits a ball in the left field. Lane Thomas does a great job of cutting it off before it goes over his head, but his throw's offline. And that's going to score 2 for the Rockies, now up 10-6. And National fans are asking the question, when do we start putting in a different pitcher in these situations where we need to salvage the game? Top 9th here, and honestly, the way these Nationals have been hitting the ball today, maybe a rally is in the stars, but the Rockies put in Justin Lawrence to close the door on them, and he does just that. He goes 1-2-3 with the final out being Ruiz. He hits the ball, pretty good contact, but goes straight to right field, and an easy fly out as the Rockies win this game 10-6. Again, that offense, I know we're sub 10 games into the season, but they might be legit as they just outslug the Nationals, saving their pitching again. CJ Cron, your player of the game, 2 for 4 with a home run and a double. Also want to call out Randall Grichuk, who went 4 for 4 with 3 runs and an RBI. Then for our Nationals, Alex Call, our player of the game, 3 for 4 with 1 run and that amazing triple. Hey, here's a stat for you. The Washington Nationals have not won a regular season game in 187 days. Yeah, I know. I could cry too. Rockies go to 3-4 in the year. The Nationals go to 0-7. When are we going to get that win? In other league news, I want to send my condolences, Cubs fans, as Patrick Wisdom has just been announced that he's out for the year with an injury. Josh Hader blows a save, a 4-run lead in the 9th. What happened to him? Alex Manoah shuts out the Kansas City Royals, and nasty Aaron Nola 3 hits the Reds. My name is Guy, and this has been Natty Lights. Y'all know the deal. I'll catch y'all next time. All right, I'm back. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that episode of Natty Lights, even though it was another tough loss for our Nationals. But our offense looked a lot better, which is a good bright spot. 15 hits and 6 runs, but our pitching really let us down, giving up 16 hits on 10 runs. I get it was in Coors, but Mackenzie Gore, it's early. It's only been 2 starts, but they've been 2 really bad starts. He's not looking like how he did in spring training when he almost won the ace competition. So we're really hoping that he can bring it back and become a better pitcher than he's shown in these first 2 games. I do believe we look at our first win versus the Rockies. So I hopped in a critical situation, down by 1, top of the 9th in game 2, and Jeter Downs up to bat. He couldn't get it done either. So we lose the second game to the Rockies 4-3. But third time's a charm as Sean Doolittle up to close it out in game 3 of this series, and we finally get our first win of this franchise, 8-7 against Colorado. Again, another ugly game from us, but just feels good to get in the W column. And after finally getting our first win, I don't think there's a better time to do our first scouting session of the year. So the positions that we're focusing on are really your core positions. So starting pitcher, because you could always use more starting pitchers, and then outfielders and infielders. I just chose left field and shortstops because they can usually play all around the field or the infield. So looking at the top prospects this year, the number 1 overall prospect is Max Turner. He's a closing pitcher from Missouri, 85-99 potential, 67-81 overall. At 22 years old, he's probably not somebody we'll want to take with the number 2 overall pick, especially at closing pitcher. You can usually get some veterans for that, or somebody else will suffice, but a good player. Number 2 overall prospect, though, is kind of intriguing to me. Tommy Savabori, I think is how you say it. Projected to be a really good hitter, and he might have a secondary position, we don't know, but looks like he'll be a really good DH and just an offensive guy. We can keep going here. Number 3 overall is Wyatt Paulino, starting pitcher, 21 from Cuba. Good potential range already, and honestly a pretty good 4-pitch repertoire. He's one that I might target. And then center fielder Dan Armas, 19 years old from Panama. Great potential range and a pretty good overall range too. And at number 4 overall prospect, he should be available for us at number 2. He's intriguing. He looks like he might be a 5-tool player. And again, those are just the top 4 guys, but there's a lot of guys that we need to look at and a lot of guys that we're going to consider. So it should be fun trying to dive in and see who we're going to really focus on these first couple weeks. So after scrolling through these prospects, there's not many 18-year-olds, generational guys that are in that top 10. So it's like a weaker draft or one that older guys are just more MLB ready. So we're going to focus on some of those older guys. One of them being Wyatt Paulino at 21 years old, starting pitcher from Cuba. We just talked about him. The number 2 prospect we're going to focus on is Tommy Savabori. Again, it'd be awesome with this team that's struggling on offense to have a guy that's great at contact and great at power. He looks like he might even come into the league and will be ready if that overall is a little bit higher. And then just to maybe find that generational guy, we've got to force ourselves to scout 18-year-olds. And the first one we're going to scout is Vector Chavez. A little bit lower on the board at 13, but one that, he might be generational. And, that's our goal. We got to find our face of the franchise, so we've got to scout these 18-year-olds. Now, pretty much on the episode, we're just going to sim the rest of this Rockies series as we lost 1-10, and there's a random minor league injury. So your Nationals start off 1-9 on the year before we head out to LA to face the Angels. So next time you see this team, might be some highlight action, might be a recap depending on how we play. But as always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, do all the things. I'd really appreciate it. I'll catch y'all next time.